Good morning, traders. Welcome to Wednesday of this beautiful week. Make sure to swing over to ssftg.com/brief to grab your morning brief levels. Before we jump on in, as always, we need to check the news. That way we know what's going on and when it's going on. We don't want to be taken by surprise, that's for sure. So looking at the news calendar this morning, we can see there are a few things going on. ADP non-farm employment change coming out at 8:15. That's usually a pretty decent mover. So something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on there. Medium news announcements at 9 o'clock with FOMC member Quarles speaking and Williams speaking at 9:30. Perfect timing. The CVOL crushing storage report coming out. That's another medium news announcement. The next large news announcement at 10 o'clock. Fed Chair Powell testifying crude oil inventories at 10:30. The forecast for that is negative 2.358 million. Previous was negative 0.754 million. And that's really about it for the big news. Medium news, again, we've got some FOMC members speaking throughout the day. But, I mean, realistically, the big thing is the crude oil inventories, if you're an energies trader today at 10:30 or at 8:15, the ADP non-farm employment change. That's about all that's going on for today. So with that out of the way, now we can jump into some charts and kind of take a look at what to expect and what's going on for today, 12/2 of 2020. First up is going to be the NASDAQ, and overall, the NASDAQ is looking relatively good. We've got a good amount of strength showing up from the buyers, and I mean, obviously, with this continuation to the upside, you'd expect that to, well, continue. Now, the big thing that's standing out here is we've got that rising support, but it also could be kind of like this. So although it is, a wider channel possibly, it could also be a smaller flag for a breakdown, and that smaller flag to a breakdown would put price right back into a major zone of support at 12,364.37. That's right at S1. That's a previous structure. That's at the half DP down. Everything is kind of stacking up around that area for buyers to want to try to come in. The big thing of importance here is if the market does get down here, we still have to wait for it to try to show that they want to come back in, because we know how the NASDAQ operates, right? It wouldn't be a surprise to see it chunk through it a ways before trying to put in a bottom in reverse. So just keep that in mind. You can want to be a buyer, and you can want to be a buyer as much as you want at 364.37, but if the NASDAQ's not ready to turn around yet, then don't get caught holding the bag. That is the big zone of support, though, at 64.37. Next area below that, at 265, there's not a whole lot to work with there. It's kind of in the middle of no man's land. Doesn't help a whole lot, but the one below that, 12,166.61, looks really, really nice. That stacks up with a lot of previous zones of interest, and just as far as the overall movement goes, we've got some pretty obvious channeling to the upside that the market is kind of cycling off the high of. So it seems like pullback makes a little bit more sense, but once we start getting down into those 364s, really sub 400s, that's going to be a big zone of interest that kind of shifts the gears here. Next up on the list, we've got the S&P, and the S&P is much cleaner to the downside than the NASDAQ was as far as the bear leg into bear flag. This move down is an extraordinarily obvious bear flag, and realistically, it kind of makes sense because a lot of buyers aren't necessarily interested in buying here anymore. That was the big shelf, and buyers were interested. But now that we've broken through that, it just doesn't seem like it's driving a whole lot of anything. Now, if the sellers can try to break down and then fail, sure, we might be able to rotate back up towards that level of resistance, 3680s or so, and then from there maybe cycle off. But if the market does want to break down to a little bit more of a new low, then we start hitting those previous major swings. Lots of support down there, and although it's not a very big breakdown, I don't think buyers really want to see it break down that much. This is a wide open window, and if they start losing ground underneath S1 by much, it's just going to start sliding. That's what happens when you've got that big wide open window. There's no structure to hold the market up anymore. So although we do have support kind of resting in the middle at 21, it makes a little bit more sense where if it's going to slide down, I would rather wait for 3600s, see if they can get that big flush all the way back down again. As far as the movement to the upside objectives are obviously the highs, and that's where a lot of buyers are going to take profit. It's back at all-time highs. So that is a zone where sellers sellers will come in, both buyers taking profit and new sellers trying to fade it. But all-time highs are really, really tricky to play around with, so just be careful if you're going to be messing around up there. Makes a lot more sense to see a dip here, and if we can get it, I think buyers are going to be pretty happy. Over to gold and seeing it just continuing its rally to the upside. Very strong continuation higher, and where the market is moving to, I mean, realistically, although it hasn't pulled back much, we've just got this really kind of wide channel going on here. Oops, let's try that channel again. And we're just kind of in the middle, right? It's not giving us a whole lot to work with. Could even be a megaphone, actually. I drew it wrong accidentally, but that kind of looks right now. We've got this megaphone where the bottom is supporting. It took a long time for them to support, but, well, what's the next spot, right? We go back up to resistance. We do have some zones in the way, like 1836.6. That's a previous zone of support resistance that we've kind of broken through. If the market's able to charge through that, 1854.5 is the next. But realistically, if we go back, that's just a previous low. That's not a huge level by any means. It's not any type of stacked up resistance or anything crazy. And realistically, the big one is going to be at 1872.4. That's the top of that big bear spike to the downside. That's where all of the longs were stuck earlier. That's going to be the big zone of interest. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it all the way up to 72.4, but if the market does make it up there, man alive, you better believe there's going to be some sellers up there. As far as pullback territory, it would be nice to see gold pull back to at least 1800, that big psychological round number. We've seen plenty of structure down there. When the market broke through it, it trashed through it, right? But now it just did the same thing on the opposite end. So we've kind of got this sort of cup and handle type formation looking for a breakout move. And a lot of times that initial breakout move just extends it so the handle becomes a little deeper. And that would line up almost perfectly with the structural support down here. We've got support at 1800, the next support at 1782. All of these zones of interest, especially at 1765, are all areas that are potentially actionable. So buyers have a lot to work with, and sellers, they got a lot of waiting to do. Over on crude oil, we can see the market pulling back, still just kind of channeling lower. It's not really doing much of anything, really. Kind of grinding its way down. You can see nice. It's such a shallow channel. It won't even let me draw it with that tool. Let me do it this way. We've got the nice channel just sort of grinding its way down. It's a very stable channel. Everything looks really kind of calm, right? It's sort of the calm before the storm, maybe? We'll have to wait and see. With all the OPEC stuff going on, market's a little bit whippy, but overall, I mean, we've got a really nice base of support. If we zoom out a little bit, where the market tried breaking out, and you can see, I mean, tried. It successfully broke out. And where we're pulling back to now is the base of where that breakout occurred. And a lot of times buyers love defending those areas. So 43.66 becomes a big zone of interest if the market can defend off of that. Now, if it wants to continue back up again, you can see what lines up pretty obviously. Channel working down and structural resistance across the highs. And I mean, R1, you name it, everything lines up here. That's where sellers are going to be looking to try to pressure back down. So kind of a narrower range today. 45.44 is the resistance, 43.66 is support. If it does go higher, sellers do still have some resistance to work with at 46.33, and buyers do have a little bit more support at 42.77 and even 41.88, which really kind of goes to show how range bound the market is. We've got opportunities all over the place, which means buy low, sell high, stay out of the middle. Most importantly, that's just kind of a range. And then next up, we've got the euro. Man, what what a completionary move on the top there. So obviously the 1.2 psychological level, we've been talking about that for a while, finally broke above it, right? But it didn't just casually make its way above it. It completely destroyed 1.2. I mean, it just raged through that area. So now that we're pulling back a little bit, it's obvious that bulls are interested, but they're having a hard time buying these aggressive little bitty pullbacks. And given that trap on the highs with that quick move up and then immediate failure down, that's usually more indicative of a deeper pullback. So we can look back and see what kind of structural areas of interest we've got. We've got 1.202 that's lining up in this area. That's also coming into the previous swing highs. That's the breakout point. Everything lines up in that zone of interest in that 2018. Now below that, We've got a little bit of support at the 19,852, but I mean, realistically, if it's going to dip, I would much rather see it dip down to the 1.195s. That's going to be the bigger zone of interest where buyers will step up. So it's either going to be high or low. The middle just doesn't make a whole lot of sense given the context, which of course probably means that's where it's going to bounce. But as it stands, it's just kind of in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to bounce there. So if it does, it's probably just a short-term one on its way down towards that 523. We'll have to wait and see. And then finally, we've got Bitcoin, and realistically, that move down yesterday, like we were talking about, although it did go down a lot further, be prepared, remember? We got that flush all the way down to the low 18,000s, and it kind of did exactly what you'd expect it to do. Buyers, we see the profit taken, all of the earlier break-evens, they get out of the way, but buyers gobbled it right back up. The fundamentals are totally different this time around, and I think that was just a catalyst for more buyers to come back in, which is what we're seeing now. We're getting a higher low transition, buyers trying to break higher. There might be a little bit of a wedge going on here with this higher low and potentially lower high, and maybe even kind of a double structured wedge. So sellers, I mean, you can definitely see a reason why sellers would want to try to take this lower. It makes sense. Double structure, we've got a double wedge breakout, we've got some obvious structural resistance around here. It makes sense. Sellers will give it a shot. If they fail, then the objective for the buyers is to get back above that 19,400, right? Get above it a little bit, then pull back, breakout, pull back, and go from there. Major objectives will be back to the highs, 19,800s, into the 20,000s, right? See if it can ramp up big and try to crack through that top. We haven't had that yet. We just had that kind of pierce. Now we got to see if that is, if this pullback was enough to get the buyers involved to get that juice, or if we're going to have to get that next leg down. If it does want to pull back, we know where the support is. And man, it could be interesting. We might get that big flush still eyeballing those 16,000s. That'd be really interesting to see one of those crazy flushes down to those zones of support just to pick it back up. I mean, like we always say, you got to be ready, but when it comes to Bitcoin, you've got to have like 7 different plans because this thing can go crazy in no time. So nice flushes to the downside. Be very, very curious about those. Those are big zones of support. All right, well, that's going to do it for today. Like we always say, stay safe out there, keep those stops in play, and let those winners run. I hope you have a fantastic trading day today, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks.